That's right, folks. It is, in fact, the iHigh Big Shot on campus. And this week, we're heading down to Tampa, Florida. We're going to be talking to just a downright nasty baseball player. The guy throws right around 97 to 100. Just disgusting, to say the least. We'll just leave it at that. So we're going to go ahead and welcome to the show from Jesuit High School out of Tampa. Welcome to Lance McCullers right now. Lance, welcome to the show. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. So tell me about Jesuit. I mean, you guys, big school, little school. I mean, obviously you're based right in Tampa. Give me a little background of the school. Big school or what?
We have about, I would say, 700. We're all male Catholic high school, and we're not too big compared to some of the other schools in the area, but we compete, just fine in the athletics and in the classroom as well.
All right, so tell me about that. I mean, obviously you're a senior there. You've been going there 4 years, been there for a while now. What's it like going to an all-boys school? I mean, is that tough? Is it fun? What is it?
No, it's not too bad. Everyone usually says, "Oh, you go to all-guys school, that'd be brutal." But you're here with some of the best friends, you have, and friends you'll have for life. I mean, I play on the baseball team in class with probably 7 or 8 of the guys I grew up playing baseball with. So it's not that big of a deal. I think people emphasize going to school with girls anyway.
Fair enough. Plus, it gives you guys kind of like that mystique. So the girls will be like, "Oh, I want to go see all the guys at Jesuit." I know how that works. I grew up around a couple schools around here.
Yeah.
Pretty similar, so I know what you mean by that. So, you mentioned baseball. Talk about that. Talk about your baseball career history, if you will. You're considered to be one of the top prospects in the entire country. But you grew up in a baseball family. Your dad, a baseball player, played in a couple different organizations. Tell me, what was that like growing up?
I think it's a huge advantage for me as a young baseball player to have a dad who played at that level and just was able to always go to him for guidance or when I was struggling, because he went through all the same things I went through. At the same time, my father or my family never forced baseball on me. I kind of played basketball and football growing up, and I decided on my own that baseball was the way that I wanted to continue to go.
Now, I know you say that there wasn't really any pressure, but for you, I mean, there had to have been a little bit of pressure. Just maybe it was pressure you put on yourself to say, "Hey, my dad plays pro. I got to live up to a pretty high standard." Right? I mean, you had to a little bit, didn't you?
I mean, there's always that kind of walking in the shadow deal. But any son that bears his father's name wants to live up to what he did and exceed that and make not only him but your family proud. So I hope I'm on that right path. And I got 2 younger brothers that play baseball here at Jesuit as well that I think make our family pretty proud.
All right, so talk about playing now. Obviously, like I said before, you're considered one of the top guys in the country. People are looking at you at your games with the guns on you every single time you jump on the bump. Also, when you're on short, people are watching you swing the bat as well. So talk a little bit more from that perspective of what it's like to have all the eyes on you. Because it's got to be fun, it's got to be interesting, but it's got to be a little nerve-wracking being kind of under the microscope, right?
Right. Well, I mean, I play in an extremely high-profile organization here at Jesuit. I think we're top 5 in every ranking for Baseball America, Perfect Game number 1, Max Preps, ESPN High School. So not only are they here to watch me, but my teammates. But I enjoy it, and I realize that they're here to watch me, and I enjoy playing baseball. I'm a kid when I go on the field. I have fun, and as long as I'm having fun on that field, I don't think I'll ever worry about the outside distractions more.
I was going to say, talk about that being on that type of team, because, we've talked to different kids where, they're the only ones on that team that everybody's paying attention to. But your team, like you said, I mean, everybody's there scouting basically 1 through 9. It's fun to be around. Talk about that, playing with a group of guys that are as good as you are. I mean, it's got to be fun to be able to, throw it around with some of your best friends. And these guys are just as good, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. We have 7 D1 commits this year that signed. And we have about 4 or 5 already in the junior class that have committed. And I think we have another senior or 2 that may pick up a college offer later in the season. So being able to play with guys, at a high level, not just myself, it's real fun because every game it's somebody different that goes out there and wins the game for your team.
All right, so tell me this, because it doesn't really happen too often during the season, but, with baseball in the preseason when you guys are in the cage and, you're just starting to throw from the hill once in a while, you're going up against your teammates. Talk a little bit about that. That's going to be pretty fun because I know they're trying to hit you and you're trying to K them. Talk about that.
No, everyone gives me my best, their best shot out there, and they get my best shot. I'm out there to, when we cross the line, even though if we're on my team, it's a game, and preseason or not, we're all there to get better. And my teammates approach that as a huge opportunity to face. He has a pretty good velocity. We have, I think, all 6 of our main pitchers are 88 plus. So we see fast pitching every day, and being able to play with guys out here that have this type of talent is something special and something that you don't really get to come across a lot.
No one gets to come across that. So don't say a lot. No one gets to come across that. That's just awesome. It really is. So talk about the commitment, because you're one of the strange people in the world that actually signed a commitment letter at a very young age. You actually signed as a sophomore, and you signed to go to play with the Gators. Talk about that idea.
Coach Kevin O'Sullivan, I think it was one of my first visits of Florida. Both of my grandfathers went there. One played basketball, one played football. Somewhere that I wanted to go for a long time. I had grown up loving the Gators and going to the Florida State football games and basketball games and baseball games. And I think, when I was there, I got the tour of the campus, and I really could see myself there. Regardless of what happens in the draft, I always knew that I knew as a student athlete that I could be there and I could, walk that campus and, play for Coach O'Sullivan. I love the coaching staff and what they're doing there, and they have something special. And I wasn't that type of guy that wanted to wait, and I just didn't want to have all that drama drag out. And Florida was the place that I fell in love with early on.
Yeah, the drama's not fun, man. It's definitely much better to get it over ahead of time. You don't have to worry about it. You know where you're going, or maybe you don't, because obviously the draft is right around the corner. Talk about that. Talk about that experience. What's that really been like for you? I mean, obviously you mentioned your teammates are probably very similar. A lot of your teammates are going through a similar situation, but you're considered again to be. You could be as high up as top 10. You could be early teens. Talk about that experience. What's that really like right now?
I don't pay attention to it as much as I think people think I do. My main goal is to go out there and have fun, like I said, and to exceed on the field with my teammates. But to win a state championship, I want to go undefeated. I want to win every single game. I'm not out there to produce for these guys that come to my games. I'm out there to produce for my teammates. That's my family out there, and it gets nerve-wracking at times just because you always feel like you're under a microscope. At the same time, I enjoy it, and it doesn't really bother me as I think. Like I said, as much as people think, that it may bother me. But, it doesn't, and I go out there, and I'm just a kid out on the field, and I have fun. And as long as I'm doing that, like I said before, I don't think any outside distractions will really bother me that much.
Very cool. So talk about your family. Obviously, your dad being an ex-pro, obviously probably instilling in your mind saying, hey, don't pay attention, just shut it off. Make sure you go out there and just play and make sure you have fun. Talk a little bit about the support system of your family, not just being able to tell you, hey, you got to drive out all the bad news, you have to drive out all the positive news and just go play a game, but also driving you to those games because, you didn't always have your license. You've played plenty of games, you've been in plenty of tournaments. They've, picked up quite a few frequent flyer miles, I'm sure, right?
No, yeah. Like I said, I have 2 younger brothers that are sophomores at Jesuit, so we're not very far apart. For my 2 parents to be able to, it seemed like be at every single game, no matter if it was my game or their game, and I played on Team USA, and I played with Midland, and we were all over the country. My parents were always there to support me. Without them, I wouldn't be, where I am today. I'm sure my brothers wouldn't either. And, they deserve all the credit in the world for my success. And, I'm just blessed to have a great family. And I really, they really deserve a lot of credit. And, great support system at home, good game, bad game. They're always going to be there for me, and that's what matters the most.
Lance, I got to tell you, man, absolutely awesome talking to you. Very humble indeed. Awesome catching up with you, man. Good luck, obviously, the rest of the season, maybe grabbing that state championship. Good luck in either the major leagues or at Florida. We'll definitely be pulling for you, my man, all right?
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Oh, without a question. That right there, folks, is this week's iHigh Big Shot on Campus. He is Lance McCullers down in Tampa, Florida. Again, this week's Big Shot on Campus.